welcome to the Biscuits and Blurays podcast, where we watch Blu-rays and the biscuit is slim and weak. She's got the teeth of the Hydra upon her. She's dirty sweet and she's my girl. I'm your host, James.
I'm glad you're laughing.
I'm co-host Jade. Hello. The hype was real when I tell you this. Mm-hmm. The hype for this was real.
You were watching the trailer frame by frame.
Oh my god. Well, it's a long story for me. Mm-hmm. This actually stems from a different person. And I've got a different person to thank for this.
Okay.
Sergeant Sad Boy, Sam, from my work. He mentioned one shift, he just came on shift and he was like, there's a film you should probably check out. Well, the trailer anyway. And I was like, oh, okay, what's it called? It's for Longlegs. Mm-hmm. All this time I thought it was 2 words. Turns out it's only one.
Yes.
Therefore, it is called Longlegs.
Longlegs.
And I will be taking no further questions. Longlegs.
Okay.
And since then, the marketing campaign has been ridiculous.
It's been crazy. I've seen it all over Instagram recently, especially in this last week.
But it's never given too much away.
No, and I think that's a good thing.
The thing is as well, we like a good horror.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Me, more recently, I think.
I know, you're getting so brave.
This is your doing, though, because you're obsessed. Well, I wouldn't say you're obsessed. You like a horror.
Honestly, I'm so proud of you watching all these horror films. You're asking for the bill now when we're out.
I did it 3 times when we went to London.
You're turning into a new man.
I don't know who I am anymore.
Who am I?
Am I Longlegs?
You have got long legs.
What? Film's about me. Representation matters, guys. So, I thought we'd check it out. Mm-hmm. And we've been obsessed with it ever since, and the hype has been real.
Yes.
In the last few days, I've been completely absorbed in what I thought this film was going to be.
Yes, following the marketing campaign, which has been very, very clever.
Mm-hmm. The heartbeat thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. I like that. All of that's good. Not showing one of the main actors' faces throughout. Mm-hmm. Genius move, that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we've talked about the marketing campaign. Mm-hmm. How did it turn out for you?
Honestly, I thought it was an absolute masterpiece. I thought it was so good.
Okay.
Is this the scariest horror film for the year? No.
Is it? They've not been calling it the scariest horror film of the year. They've been calling it the scariest horror film of the decade.
It's not. Okay. It really isn't.
All right.
But did this film make me feel constantly on edge and uneasy all the way through it? Yes. I found my heart beating so fast. I felt really anxious for no reason all the way through this.
Okay.
I was completely absorbed with it. It made me feel like the same way I did watching the opening kind of scenes in The Exorcist. You know when you know something's going to happen? You know like when Tubular Bells plays? Mm-hmm. All of those scenes kind of up before we find out that Regan's possessed really gets me like, oh my god. I
remember being sat next to you watching The Exorcist for the first time. Obviously I'd seen it like 1,000,000 times, whatever. But you seemed out of breath.
And I was like it for this.
Okay.
A few times I thought, shit, I can't catch my breath. And I don't know why. And that wasn't just because loads of people were fucking loud and I was screaming.
Well, let's talk about cinema etiquette, just as a side note.
Yeah.
Just a quick thing. We went into a screen. We went into the cinema was busy. Despicable Me 4 is also out.
Yes, and Inside Out is still doing the rounds.
So, packed, essentially. Mm-hmm. We love to see it. Honestly, I like seeing more people in the cinemas.
Mm-hmm. But not our fucking screen.
Just get out. Like, just don't. And we sat on the aisle.
Yeah.
But the way the screen was, because we have longer legs, there's not much room between you and the person in front of you. Mm-hmm. So, all the seats were booked on our row. Mm-hmm. We were sat next to 2 people, and then there was another 2
couple,
people.
Yeah.
When it was in the trailers, that couple came in, and we all agreed, I think subconsciously, we all agreed, if we're going to go to the toilet, do it now. Mm-hmm. No one did anything.
No.
Until, like, maybe one of the more dramatic bits in this, the guy next to me, who was chewing so loudly, by the way.
It was so fidgety, wasn't he? He couldn't get comfortable. I mean, the seats aren't the best.
They're not the best seats in there.
No. He couldn't get comfortable. I think he was itching for his phone because they've been watching him all throughout the trailers.
Yeah.
I think he was just restless. He was trying to eat his sweets. and his popcorn and his drink, everything he was trying to do. A few times I looked at him and he was like, shit, okay, I'm sorry. He just made it louder as he tried to do it slower.
The problem was he was eating them not one at a time, which I do. I'm a one at a time person. You don't. You're a
grabber.
You're a grabber. But you're sort of doing that before he gets into his mouth. But then chewing like a gazelle.
Yeah.
And every time he did it, I sort of just like put my hand on my face. I didn't hide it well, and I felt bad. Mm-hmm. Am I the problem?
No, because people should know how to fucking eat in a cinema.
One guy in front of us was vaping, we're pretty sure.
Yeah.
And just...
There's somebody to the left of me that every now and again would make a really random comment.
He dropped a drink, did he?
His girlfriend went up to go to the toilet and she knocked his drink over and it went all over his coat that he put on the floor. Then she had to get him another one, so he was really mad at her. So that was entertaining. The problem is though, with a film like this, you have to stay in it. Mm-hmm. I think that really is where it kind of gets its hooks into you. I think that's probably why you maybe had a different reaction to it than I did, because obviously the guy chewing didn't really affect me so much.
Well, all the way through it, I thought the first maybe 20 minutes, I thought I can hear a tapping, and it sounds like a soundscape is being played throughout it. And it turns out it was just the guy's next to me's foot, just on the floor, just like sort of like that. And I was thinking, oh, that's an interesting style choice.
And it wasn't.
And it turns out it was just the guy next to me who can't keep still.
So I think that your review of this is going to be heavily influenced by the screening that we had. Someone
on my Instagram earlier put out on their story, does your experience in the cinema tamper your review of a film? And I replied back and I said, well, sometimes, but then I'll always make up for it in rewatches. Mm-hmm. This is very much the case for me here.
Yeah.
I think. However, I don't think this is what people are saying it is.
I agree. I feel like the same thing has just happened with us with Maxine. Uh-huh. I feel like the trailers, the hype was building up for a completely different film.
Okay.
Than the one that we got. It felt like it was more in line with what I was expecting it. It felt a bit more Silence of the Lambs-esque.
Well, it's funny she'd mentioned Silence of the Lambs, because that was one film I watched yesterday in preparation for this, because I thought, finally, we're going to get something as good as Silence of the Lambs.
You're not, guys.
No, but I don't think it is a Silence of the Lambs.
No, but you can kind of see some of the inspirations, maybe, from that.
Yes. I think I did a little stack of films that I think this film was going to be like, and I don't think I was far off.
I don't think you was far off, to be fair.
Okay. I put Silence of the Lambs, Babadook, Exorcist, Nightcrawler, Perfect Blue. I thought that's a good shout. Prisoners, Rosemary's Baby, and Zodiac.
I think you're missing off It Follows.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't like It Follows.
I know you don't like it, but I feel like it has that kind of same underlying sense of dread to it that film has.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I was drawn in. By the way, no spoilers here. We're not going to talk spoilers.
No.
So I would recommend go and see it anyway. Because I didn't hate it. Mm-hmm. But I was just not... I wasn't gripped, but I think that's because of the circumstances I was in. And it just wasn't scary. It just did nothing for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think it was scary. I think it was made me really uneasy, and I really bought into it. Mm-hmm. I think because I had a bit of a better viewing experience. So I think this is something we should watch again. Okay,
and I'm not going to say, I'm never going to watch this film again. I enjoyed the mystery of it quite a bit.
Yeah, it kind of feels almost a bit like a crime documentary-esque.
Yeah.
That's some of the really good ones that you get on Netflix. Mm-hmm. It kind of had that sort of vibe to it.
This is directed by Oz Perkins. Oz Perkins has connections to horror. Mm-hmm. He, of course, is the son of a certain Anthony Perkins.
Oh, I see.
Who was, of course, Psycho in Hitchcock's Psycho.
Wow.
I think he's sort of carrying the torch a little bit.
I know, I like that.
But the lead in this is Mrs. Micah Monroe.
Malika?
Yeah, Mika.
Malika.
Yeah, okay. Micah. I'm going to say Micah. I think it's Micah.
Miss Monroe.
Okay. Who is, of course, was in It Follows as well. Mm-hmm. I liked her performance in that more than this.
I can see why you'd think that. Mm-hmm. But I thought that she was amazing in this.
She plays a FBI agent No different from Clarice Starling. Thank you very much.
Yes, she's a bit more quiet and reserved though than Clarice.
It's an interesting performance because it's played very one note, but I think that is the point.
Yeah.
But all the way through it, I thought, okay, it's giving off Sheldon Cooper vibes.
I know what you mean, but I didn't get it as much as you did.
Yeah.
Maybe because I'm more aligned to Big Bang than you are.
Probably. Do you like Big Bang Theory?
I don't mind it, no.
Oh my god, no. That's the incorrect answer.
Shut up.
There's a certain actor in this as well that we do need to talk about.
I think everyone's waiting for this.
Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
Are you a fan of Nicolas Cage?
I really am.
Okay.
I think he's great. I mean, we've watched another film of his this week. We watched Dream Scenario.
Yeah, we did.
And he's great in everything.
No.
Oh, I think he is. I think he always goes for it.
No, he doesn't.
I think he does.
I don't think he does. Okay, I think I spoke about this in my review with Lindsay on Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. My problem with that film is it didn't let him go full Cage. And it's a film where he's playing Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, a bit restrained, but it's not bad. This is 100% Cage.
Yeah.
Longlegs. I liked it. I liked the performance. However, is it the scariest performance of the year? No.
No, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
His makeup is very John Travolta.
He does look like John Travolta. If John Travolta was doing a bad Michael Jackson impression,
that would be that.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they did well to hide it as long as they did. However, I think there's a scene at the start where you almost see it, but you don't.
Yeah.
I was like, you busted my balls.
The one thing that kind of gets me about his character is we know from the trailers already, this is already out, that they're following a killer. You can't tell me that anybody who looked anything like Cage's character could walk around a town and no one would go, that's a fucking weirdo. He doesn't look like anybody. Like, do you know what I mean? He doesn't look like he could easily blend into a crowd. He's so noticeable.
I've said people who look like that.
Wow.
But
it's everything from his costume to the way he acts and how he talks. Everything about him would draw your attention to him.
Yeah, I agree. But the problem is, I think, for me, okay, they've been sort of bumping up this Nicolas Cage transformation. He's unrecognisable. No, he isn't.
He is recognisable, but I think he's having to... There's a lot of makeup on him. Does he wear the makeup or does the makeup wear him?
I think the makeup wears him, but I think he is still giving it everything he's got.
Yeah.
But I mean in transformation, like appearance, whatever. But I still, in that performance, that is still just Nicolas Cage. I couldn't disconnect that actor from that character. I was just like, okay, I'm just seeing Nicolas Cage go for it. And that's fine, but this isn't the film to be doing it, I don't think.
I know what you mean. I feel like it worked in the likes of Renfield. I think Cage was the best thing about that film.
But in my head, in watching Renfield, I was like, okay, this is just Nicolas Cage playing Dracula.
And he just went for it, didn't he? It was great.
Yeah. Dream Scenario is different. I think he was actually... It was a restrained performance from Nicolas Cage. When I say Nicolas Cage, I think Face Off is the most Cage.
Most people think that, don't they?
Yeah. That's the spectrum of Cage. Face Off is on one end, and maybe fucking, I don't know, The Weatherman is on the other end. Okay. This is not far off from Face Off. I don't think it's not all the way Face Off.
No, there's a particular scene where he's in a car where he goes full Cage.
Yeah.
And I was here for it because you turned and smiled at me and I thought, yep, James is loving that.
There's a trailer been released that said... there's a trailer been released that said Miss Monroe has been wearing a heart monitor as she's seeing Nicolas Cage. Because apparently, and this might be true, this might not, but the first time she saw Nicolas Cage in character is a certain scene in this film. And the trailer shows you certain bits, but it blocks his face out.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. But then her heartbeat gets more and more, it gets faster and faster. Did you get that as well?
A little bit. I think for her as well, it depends what else she's filmed and how into the character she is. If you're fully invested in your performance and that's the first time you're acting that, and you feel like you are talking to somebody who's actually dangerous,
yeah,
maybe that she's built. But do you know what I mean? She's wired into that a little bit.
Well, let's give them. Let's argue both sides. If that is just a marketing ploy, it's a genius one.
It's very good, yeah.
Yeah, because obviously people. There was the guy in front of us who was vaping. The prick he checked his smartwatch, but he was looking for his heartbeat, and I was like, okay, well, if you're doing that, then
clearly the marketing's gotten to you, which it was what it was meant to do.
Absolutely. However, if it is the other way, if it's true and she was wearing a heart monitor, that is good acting on her part, but it's better acting on his.
Yeah. Nicolas
Cage is completely invested.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there'd be things that he did to maybe spook her?
Maybe. He seems it's unhinged in a way that you don't know what he's going to do next, almost.
Hmm.
So maybe she didn't know how he was going to play it, because he was quite... What's the kind of word? The way he's kind of using his vocals. At 1 minute he's quite loud, then he's short. Do you know what I mean? It's...
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was very good. I mean, he's playing himself.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean that what he isn't doing isn't good.
I agree. Yeah. It's the best bit of the film.
Mm-hmm.
Is it... Okay. Horror films, and this is a horror film, essentially. It's a 15.
I think it's more of a thriller.
It is more of a thriller. Silence of the Lambs is more of a thriller, but that's considered a horror.
Yeah, I would say Silence of the Lambs falls more under horror for me.
Really?
A little bit, yeah, but I suppose it's because Buffalo Bill's so horrible.
My problem is Silence of the Lambs is so fucking good, right? We'll cover it on the podcast eventually, but I love Silence of the Lambs. I think it's a masterpiece. It's very well made. Mm-hmm. There are glimpses of gore in this.
Mm-hmm.
I was put back to watching Silence of the Lambs the other day, and I was actually with Jodie Foster the other week. And the beauty of Silence of the Lambs is it doesn't show; it tells. For instance, where they're doing the autopsy, and you just see Jodie Foster's reaction.
Yeah.
Here we see everything.
I don't think it's overly crazy though what we're seeing. It plays out very crime scene Netflix-y.
Yeah.
Like what you'd expect to get on one of those kind of like The Night Stalker. Or, do you know what I mean? Because I think quite a few of those have been retelling stories recently.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Dahmer stuff. I think that's all plays into it a little bit. So it felt like no different than what you'd see on one of those shows.
It did put me in mind of Hereditary.
Okay.
For instance, everyone knows the scene in Hereditary where,
we know the scene.
Yeah. But then there's a shot later where you do see the consequences of that. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the effect they were going for here. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's as good as Hereditary.
No.
But I think, okay, you're going for shock, and that's good, but you're not Silence of the Lambs.
No, I think we also hear a lot as well about the openings of the cases, of some of the violence that have happened in these crimes. Mm-hmm. We don't really see it. The violent crime that we do see that is not, it's not really on camera very much. It's kind of juttery. Do you know what I mean?
It feels a bit Shining, though.
It feels a bit Shining, but then the one that we get a bit later on is completely off of camera.
I mean, it plays it... I think it's genius cinematography and filmmaking. Mm-hmm. It's great direction.
Yeah.
Good camera work. There are instances... I'm just talking about Silence of the Lambs again. I can't help it. I've just got to mention it. Silence of the Lambs works because it is filmed from its eye level. Mm-hmm. This one... Well, so like when Hannibal Lecter is talking to you, he's looking at the camera.
Yeah. To
give you the impression of what Jodie Foster is feeling. This is going for a bit more different style, but I think it is in the same vein, where it's sort of it's a bit lower. It's lower and it's kind of upwards, isn't it? It's diagonal. Yeah, as if a child were looking at it. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I thought it was absolutely so good. And did you like the 90s nostalgia running through it? Would you like me to know how I knew it was the 90s? How? There was a massive picture of Bill Clinton on the office wall. There was more Bill Clinton in this than I was expecting. Why, get out of there. Last time he was in office, well, Miss Lewinsky. I did not have sexual intercourse with that woman. that constantly plagued any LimeWire download. Oh God, yeah. For every person at that time. But the problem is, I get that doing it in the 90s gives it... You know what else was filmed in the 90s? Fucking Silence of the Lambs. Shut the fuck up about that film. I'm sorry. Doing it in the 90s gives you I think that was probably the last time we didn't have like CCTV and things like this.
And I think that adds a bit more of a spookiness to it, I think, because as soon as you start adding in smartphones, and CCTV and that sort of stuff, it starts getting clunky, and that's where a lot of plot holes can come from.
Serial killers these days are few and far between because of technology being the way it is.
I mean, and also, how many times in modern horror films have we felt cheated by characters that go to call somebody on their phones and the cell phones don't work? Oh, my phone's broken.
Yeah.
It's so cheap whenever that happens. So to have a film, that's why I like films that are set outside of kind of a modern world. Sure.
The problem is with Maxine. Quick review of Maxine. Did you like it?
I did like it.
Okay.
I think again, marketing was completely off with it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I did.
I hated it. I thought it was trash. One of the worst films of the year. But the aesthetic of it
was a fire.
They did something with the aesthetic of it. Late Night did. Late Night, the 70s aesthetic, it lent itself to it. This one, set in the 90s, didn't lend itself to the film, I don't think, because it was still set in a rural town.
It was, but I feel like that the aesthetic of the 90s, especially the early 90s, with a lot of beiges and stuff, it feels very 70s. And bearing in mind that we have a couple of flashback scenes to the 70s, I think kept it quite fresh, which I quite liked.
Okay. I appreciate the costume design and stuff, particularly Nicolas Cage's, but I've many questions. It raises more questions than it answers. Why is he called Longlegs? I don't know. I don't think it was ever addressed.
Maybe that's something that you'll get more of an idea of the second time around, because there were things that maybe we didn't hear because we were too busy concentrating on the people around us. Because I mean, she did do a lot of investigating, and there were scenes with a big Zodiac trying to decipher letters and stuff like that. Maybe we missed things.
The thing you said to me before we left is, "Do you want to take your glasses? I can't see anything." And then I said, "No, I'm not going to take my glasses. It's a big screen. I'm not going to miss anything." But there were so many letters that I couldn't read.
I have a point.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to take my glasses more to serial killer dramas. They always send letters.
They've always liked to do that.
Yeah. There were some good scares, though. I don't think there's a few jump scares, and I find jump scares cheap at the best of times. But here, I thought, okay, I liked how they were used.
I liked how they were used, to be fair. There's one that got me.
Which one that got you? I'm going to...
There was a flash, I think, where it flashed to him at the beginning.
Yeah. That was the one, yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
And it was done in a way not to affect the story, but to sort of see how that character is thinking at that time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't without creepiness. And I think it is a creepy film. First of all, I don't think the reviews that say it's a scary opening, it's a scary ending, have any leg to stand on. Long leg to stand on. Because it isn't. It's not. What? No. It builds and builds and builds throughout that second act and carries on.
Yeah.
Is it scary? No. But there are moments where it was creepy. But I felt it was a bit... what film was it? Probably The Strangers or The Purge. Into Us. It felt, where she was in her house doing her stuff. Turn all the lights on, please. Just do that.
Yeah, in horror films, guys, if you think someone's in your house, turn all your fucking lights on.
And don't live on your own. Just don't.
Some people have to live on their own.
I appreciate that, but just get a flatmate who will back you up in certain situations.
Well, they're usually the first to go in scary films.
That is true.
And in a lot of crimes.
What?
Again, a lot of this feels like it is a movie that feels like a movie, if you know what I mean. It doesn't feel like you're watching a Netflix crime drama, but it has that same kind of vibe.
It does have style. It has quite a unique sense of style, I thought.
I thought it was fabulous.
For instance, not all of it is shot on the same frame rate. When it goes to flashbacks, it does go... what's the square one? 16:9, I think? Yeah, I don't know. But I thought that was a very interesting choice. The credits rolling. They don't go up, they go down. But I just thought, okay, it's not made without love. Obviously, it's well-versed. It's nothing you've not seen before.
We had this conversation in the car. Do you think this is going to get a sequel? Has it set up for a sequel?
And you said yes.
I feel like there's room for one.
Okay. But then we watched two different movies then. Because, no, this is open and close.
But I feel like you could easily use the character with the ending that we got.
Uh-huh.
I feel like it's open. The door is still open for more.
Okay. I very much disagree.
I don't think there is.
Okay. I think it would cheapen this one if they did. But then,
I think it would, but it hasn't stopped people from doing it.
well, we've still got Smile 2 to look forward to.
We've got Joker, but that's also a film, though, that wasn't designed to have a sequel. But they're doing one anyway, because money talks.
Money does talk.
I mean, Smile was a film that wasn't planning a sequel, but money talks.
Yeah.
I mean, as well, sequels have dominated the box office this year.
I think what would be interesting going forward is if they do it in a different setting, completely different, like Smile is doing. Mm-hmm. Smile's obviously doing it where it's a pop star and she's got loads of followers and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then she gets it, I think. We haven't seen it yet, whatever.
We're assuming based off the first film how it happens.
Yeah, and that's an interesting place to put it. But this, again, it'll just play out exactly the same way.
I don't know. It's a weird one.
Because you can't do it, you can't go back anymore, because this story starts at a certain time.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you can... I think it could continue on.
I don't see it doing so. Money, yeah, like you said, money talks.
I think they'd find a way. You could be creative with it.
Maybe. Nah.
No, I think it could.
Okay. Was this better than Space Jam for you?
Yes.
Okay, fine. I think so as well. But we had a very different experience.
But again, me and you do have different experiences with horror because, for example, The First Omen, you loved it.
Oh my god, I can't sing The First Omen's praises enough.
Whereas I enjoyed a performance in it.
Yeah.
But the rest of the film I thought was a bit crap.
But that's what I think about this.
But you didn't think this film was crap?
No, I thought it was okay. It held its own. The First Omen, though, was completely different. That blew my tiny mind. That got under my skin in the way that this one, I wanted this one too, and this one didn't. You know what gets under my skin? Silence of the Lambs.
Shut up.
Fucking banger.
Well, anything devil related does. I mean, look at Late Night. How many times have we watched that film this year? About 7?
Of the horror films you've seen this year, is this the best for you?
Late Night's still been my favourite.
Because of the surprise?
Because I couldn't believe how good it was. And I loved how it was laid out. I thought it was so good. But did you know this is a very close second for me?
Really?
I really enjoyed this, yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
And I can't wait to see this again.
With horror films going forward, we've had quite a good year. A mixed bag of stuff this year. Horror film-wise, anyway.
Yeah.
We're turning into a horror podcast, I think.
Without knowing,
we've done quite a lot of them recently. But what are you looking forward to now? Is it Smile 2? Is it Violent Nature? Is it...
Violent Nature's got my attention.
Does Trap have your attention?
It does, but I feel like it's going to fall into an M. Night hole that most of his films do.
Okay.
They all do, don't they?
Yeah.
I think it'll be really strong opening and then it'll be like, oh, for fuck's sake, what's he doing?
Old was good, though.
Old was, but even again, I feel that went down the same hole. I think they all do for me.
Uh-huh.
But I think most looking forward to horror-wise, what else is coming out?
Smile 2, Violent Nature, I think.
There is more, isn't there?
Alien. Doesn't really count.
No.
No, I'd say it's just those ones, isn't it?
I think there is, but I'm not thinking of...
Yeah.
My brain's not working right now. But no, I think Smile 2 has got the potential to be really good.
Mm-hmm. I was hoping this one would be top of my favourite films of the year. Mm-hmm. It didn't deliver for me. But I think that's what I brought to it.
I know what I'm looking forward to.
Go on.
Nosferatu.
Oh shit, that's this year, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. It's got a Christmas release, unsure why. But I'm really looking forward to that.
Robert Eggers.
Yeah.
Longlegs. Willem Dafoe's in that.
Banger.
Who else is in that?
Skarsgård.
Which one?
All
of them.
The one from It.
Have all the Skarsgårds been in them? In a film together?
They can't.
What do you mean?
It's like a thingy. The universe just implodes if they're all in the room together.
Family reunions at the Skarsgårds. It's like, get them out! You can't all be in here. This one, it's mid for me. I might change my mind.
I think on a second viewing, you'll either love it and think, what the fuck, I think I missed out the first time around, or you'll completely hate it. I think you'll go one or the other way.
You don't think I'll just stick with, okay, it's fine?
No. I think you'll go one or the other, because I think your experience was hampered by a distracting screen.
Yes. However, the performance by Nicolas Cage, the scenes that were in it, I turned to you and I was smiling. But not because I found it scary or was enjoying it, because I was laughing. I found it unironically funny. Mm-hmm. And I thought, that's not the feeling I wanted to have watching Longlegs after all those reviews came out. Mm-hmm. This is doing well, though, review-wise.
I'm hoping, though, now you know what it is, that you can watch it again because you know what to expect almost. I think you might find yourself sinking into it a little bit further, which is what I'm hoping to feel like when I inevitably have to watch The Exorcist again later on this year.
You like a good detective story, don't you?
One that's clever. Yeah, I really like the likes of Seven.
Well, The Exorcist is a detective movie.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that I feel I really like a film that gets like a sense of dread within me.
I think you'd like The Exorcist 3.
So I'm trying to sell The Exorcist 3 to me.
This is the first time I've ever done it.
Yes, no, it isn't. He was like, "Oh, if you put both of them together, you'll get a really good."
There's
film.
a good cut of that film somewhere, but I'm glad you liked it. Like, I'm a bit envious because I wanted to come out of it with like at your level. I just can't.
For now.
For now, my opinions may change, and I'm open to that.
I'm hoping that we can catch a Violent Nature, and that might make us go, "Ooh, something different."
We should have watched them in a completely different order. I think we should have seen Violent Nature first. I think that's more of a brutal horror slasher, maybe.
Yeah.
And then a Maxine to really like a palate cleanse and think, you know what? Sometimes films can be a bit shit, and then Longlegs like back up again. Yeah. Maybe that's
the roller coaster of horror movies.
Yeah, and it has been a roller coaster of horror films. Late Night was a surprise. Abigail was okay, didn't really deliver.
Abigail's been one of the crappiest ones for me this year.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why it made me go, ugh, as much as it did.
Then it was First Omen for us. First Omen, I adored the First Omen. It really got into my
I didn't
skin.
say I hated it,
yeah,
but I didn't get the same coming out of it as you did.
But then we went to see Sting, and that was fucking shit.
Shocking.
And then like Maxine, and that was shit. So we were in a bit of
I quite like Maxine. Don't you pull me down to that.
It's no Pearl. I'm just saying it. It's not Pearl.
But then again, I didn't think Pearl was all that.
Pearl's fucking great.
I preferred X.
No! Pearl's so much better.
I'm not the only person. There's other people that do too.
I know. I'm the minority on that one. This one was okay, and like I said, we'd see it again. But people seem to be loving it, genuinely.
They do, and I hope it still has that hype and that people keep going out to see it.
Do you think it should have been a 15, just real quick?
Yeah. I think the rating's correct.
I think it could have done more to maybe push the boundaries a little.
Would that have helped the film, making it an 18?
It would have emptied the film a lot more, and that twat that was sat next to me who was chewing his
Yeah,
stomach.
but you don't want to change the vibe of the film just because of the audience. Because you want it to be wide so people can go and see it.
Well, you know what was an 18? Silence of the Lambs. But it was what it was. Check it out for sure. I'm not telling anyone to not go and see it.
Yeah, check it out because we are going to check it out. No matter what James wants to do, he's going to watch it again.
Check it out because what reasons would you say? Bullet points.
Check it out because I think it'll creep up on you. I think it's one of those, if you like a bit of a slow burn, but you like that kind of feeling of, oh my god, will it happen, will it not? If you like a crime story, this is for you. If you're going expecting a horror film, this probably isn't what you're looking for.
I think if you're looking for a well-made, well-directed, well-acted psychological thriller, which I think this one is, I think you'll be much more invested in it. Mm-hmm. It's not a horror film, but there are glimpses of it that you think, okay, maybe that's why they've gone a bit that way.
And to be honest, reading some of the reviews on Letterboxd, quite a few people are still commenting they're finding it scary, and I think it's because it's how it's making them feel. Those feelings of anxiety and dread that it does put in you can be really unsettling.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the horror's coming from.
I see. I'm disconnected from any of that.
I think it's the kind of the likes of what the what Blair Witch did. Blair Witch is not a gory film. There's not much that happens in it, really. But for some reason, it got people really jumpy and on edge. Mm-hmm. And I think this might do it. I mean, not to that extent, because I feel like Blair Witch was particularly good at it.
Okay.
And obviously, it's a completely different medium doing the kind of camera handheld stuff.
I've never seen Blair Witch.
I'd say you're missing out, but you're not really. I think other films have done it better since.
But you know what I'm like with horror. You know that I find, Skinamarink, that I won't even attempt to watch that. Because I know I'm going to be shit scared. But you've watched it and you think it's shit. Nothing happens.
Maybe we should watch Skinamarink.
Oh, I don't want to. This looks so scary.
I feel like we should watch Skinamarink now.
Oh, fuck. That looks so terrifying now.
I thought it was slow and boring. But that's just me and you. But again, people that love it really love it.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah. We don't, who do you believe?
it's good that people can have these kinds of conversations, though.
Because horror films are the only thing keeping the
Box
box office
office
alive. Apart from Despicable Me 4 and Inside Out, which were quite busy today.
Which was good.
Yeah, love to see it. Good. You know what wasn't busy? Any other film out? Maybe Bad Boys.
Bad Boys has had some good reviews, though, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And-
Twisters is next, and that's had great reviews.
Oh, I've got so much high hopes for Twisters.
Oh.
This is my kind of time to shine
Yeah.
now.
Overall, out of me and you and the films we've watched collectively, who's having the better year for getting stuff out of the films that we've watched?
Maybe me.
I think you. That's not fair.
But you picked some right crap, though.
Excuse me? Like what?
The Flash.
No,
that was last year.
That was last year.
Anything you kind of picked this year has been crap. Like, Sting was your pick.
Sting was an interesting trailer, and I will back that trailer till the end of time.
It was always going to be a little bit wank, weren't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not as good as this.
I know most things that James picks are a bit crap.
Yeah. There's Twisters next for you, because you've picked that. I've picked Coraline again, because I know I'm going to be satisfied with that.
Yeah, you'll be happy with that.
I'll be happy with that, yeah. But Longlegs, have you seen it? Let us know what you think. We've kept away from spoilers. That's on purpose. Mm-hmm. We want you to enjoy this.
Yes.
As much as Jade did. And I will go support cinemas, and that's what I'll take away from this.
And you're going to see it again.
And I have to see it again. I'm glad you liked it, though, really, genuinely.
Yay.
Yeah. Okay. But better than Space Jam, yes?
Yes.
I will also say yes. Because, yeah, it's fine. Thanks for listening, guys. Next week, we're having another guest on for The Wrath of Khan, which is Star Trek.
Okay, which is interesting. So at the moment, James is going through his Lord of the Rings / Hobbit phase for no reason. So to move from that to Star Trek is quite extreme. So we'll see how you get on with that.
The problem is with that one, that is the second Star Trek film. And I have not seen the first one. So I have to watch 2 films for this guest.
Okay.
I've got a lot of work to do.
Best get cracking.
Oh god, I've got so much Star Trek to watch. Thanks for listening, guys. See you very soon.
You will.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.